All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Arts Advocacy Day Captain Training Series. This is our first session, so thank you all so much for joining us today. Our topic will be about how to use the Arts Advocacy platform, the registration website, and how to request and schedule meetings. Welcome all. I am Jennifer Ko. I am managing the Captains program for this event. I am located on Togwell land, also known as Los Angeles. So please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. Again, this session is being recorded and will be shared out with all of you. We know some captains aren't able to join us for now, so they can watch this later, and you can also all review this recording afterwards as well. So feel free to share your name, where you're from, what you do in the chat. Okay, and as you're doing that, there's some quick tips for accessibility. We have the closed captions on at the bottom, and you can go ahead and toggle that at any time during the meeting. There's also the chat function we'll use for questions today. You can drop them in at any time, and Jenica on our team here will be monitoring them throughout the session. And then our agenda today, we basically will be doing some welcome and reminders as we're doing now. We will go through how to schedule and request meetings in 4 steps, and then also how to use the registration site for Arts Advocacy Day, also in 4 steps. So that's just the first portion. And then we'll have the second portion about 30 minutes afterwards for the second hand for all of you to just do some hands-on practice of what you're all learning today, and then Q&A too. So definitely feel free to either drop in your questions during the first portion or save them for later on too. All right, again, thank you all for joining us today during your lunch hour and watching this training number 1 session with us. As a reminder, all captains, new and returning, must register for the entire captain training series as part of your requirements. As captain, you are responsible for either attending the training sessions live, so thank you all so much right now for those of you here, or watching the recording afterwards that we will have available for you. Again, the format will be, it's a virtual session. We offer the first half hour of instruction and then the second half hour of hands-on practice and questions. And hot off the press, we've just launched the Captain's Toolkit for 2026 with all the steps and resources to support you. And again, each of these 3 training sessions, we kind of break the toolkit into chunks and sections to go through. So definitely make sure that you are going to be attending or watching the recordings for these training sessions. All right, and thank you all for chiming in and sharing in the chat. Without further ado, I would first also, before I do that, let me go back and forgot to importantly share the staff. You all probably know our faces and names by now, but just wanted to make sure you all kind of know what we do here for Arts Advocacy Day for California for the Arts. So Tracy Giveaway, Tracy's our Director of Policy and Advocacy. She's going to be really drafting a lot of the talking points and policy priorities for us to be utilized closer to the day. Jenica, give us a wave too as well. Jenica is our Organizational Advancement Manager, really helping with the logistics for the whole entire event. And a great resource too, because she has also served as a captain in the past. And then we have Charlie, who is our new intern for this season. Glad to have Charlie with us, who will be kind of spearheading and really galvanizing and mobilizing all of the advocates who you will all have a team of in your meetings too. Right. So again, by this point, all you captains, you should have had a confirmation email from me with your assigned lawmaker meetings for which you will be requesting and scheduling meetings for. Let me go ahead and jump back here. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Tracy, who's going to take it away for this section.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you so much for all this work in organizing and supporting us. This is such a great growth for the organization to have such a strong captain program, and we're all so appreciative of all the captains and your leadership and joining our Arts Advocacy Leader family. Really, really grateful for you as well. Today, all of the resources that we've developed for supporting captains can be used for coming to Arts Advocacy Day in Sacramento, as well as if you want to organize meetings in your community, either when lawmakers are on recess and in district office between March 30th and April 3rd, or virtual meetings anytime. We may talk frequently about Arts Advocacy Day because there's just a lot of logistics and organizing around bringing everybody to the Capitol. But please, if you are doing either type of meetings, please make sure to ask any questions that you need in regards to district captaining as well. Thank you. Next slide. And just for those who were new and to set the groundwork, set the ground in terms of expectations when scheduling, what we've learned through years of doing this and what we've learned from you all reporting back at the end of Advocacy Day in our feedback survey, our captain survey. Really recommend starting to request your meetings as early as possible. It can take some time. There's a lot of moving parts with lawmakers, and always follow up and keep following up. That's kind of the key takeaway that we've learned through the years. And then you get a meeting for as long as 30 minutes on Arts Advocacy Day or as short as 15 minutes. If you're doing in district, sometimes they'll even meet with you for an hour on Zoom. So it's a little bit more flexible their time. But at Arts Advocacy Day on that window in late April, it's usually pretty hectic, a lot of hearings and things like that. So meetings can be really short or they can go up until a half an hour. And by default, in the registration feature, our registration platform, all the meeting attendee caps are set at 10 people. Captains have some discretion over that, and also lawmakers may say, oh, I will only meet with this many, or if you have a lot of people who sign up who for your meetings and you'd like to be able to accommodate them, a larger group, you can request that. You'll just have to let Jennifer know the exact number, and we can update the registration platform to allow for those capacities. For those folks that do are in a district that where a lot of people come to Advocacy Day, and you need to expand, you can also, as you get closer to the day in your confirmation process with the lawmaker office, request a conference room. Say we have a large group that you can coordinate that with the lawmaker staff. And the meetings generally will take place at 1021 O Street. It's very close to the Capitol, walking distance from Capitol Park. That's where the lawmaker offices are. They'll often accommodate you within a room, a small conference room within their office, or sometimes they'll just meet in the hallway. And so there's some flexibility there, and in terms of their schedule and where bodies are, bodies are in space. And additionally, what we find is that a lot of times with the busyness of that time of year, some folks won't be able to meet with lawmakers. We have to meet with a staffer, and that is still exceptionally valuable. Those relationships are really, really critical. It's staffers that tend to be the knowledge experts within an office. And so when they understand our issues, they're in alignment with what we're seeking. They can be great advocates within the office, and they often move around to different offices as well. So those relationships are key. So if you think you're only meeting with a staffer, please know it's really just as valuable as meeting with a lawmaker. And next slide, please. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the booked meeting form so you can see what kind of information you'll be collecting when you schedule with your lawmaker. And Jennifer, if you want to, thank you. I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is the kind of best communication method for getting the information that you're getting from lawmaker offices about your meetings to the team here, to Jennifer and the team at Californians for the Arts, that then gets into the registration platform so everybody can see what's going on. But as an initially you'll be adding your name and what type of meeting information you're submitting. And you can do this and clear the form later if you're not ready, if you just want to review it in your own time. So hitting over the next page, it has a list of what lawmakers assembly members here, and I'll say I'm meeting with Tom Lackey, not David Alvarez, and And then this is just to show you this form can be used to update your meeting information. So you can, when you're in here, select whether it's a new meeting submission or when there's some changes that we need to flag and update on the platform, on the registration meeting platform, the Advocacy Day platform. So you'll be entering what type of information you're submitting here, the start time of the meeting, the length of the meeting, and then the location in case there's any that it isn't at 1021 O Street. We've had lawmakers say, I'm going to be at a hearing at this time, meet me in the hallway of the Capitol. So you can convey that information within this form. And then the room number. Make sure to confirm a room number with the staffer so that we have that in the registration system, what we are calling STOVA. And that's used both for the summit and for Arts Advocacy Day. And there's the Stova app that can be really useful, and your advocates will have all the information that you've given to us in their phones. And then who you're meeting with, if it's going to be a staff person or a lawmaker, and if there are any specifications that are different than the 10 attendees so that we can accommodate. And then you can submit this form and then do the same for your senator. All right, I'll stop sharing and we'll jump back in. So that's just some of the information to be thinking about when you're booking your meetings.
Thank you, Tracy. And one thing to add is if those of you who are serving as captains for more than one lawmaker meeting, if you can submit those book meeting forms separately for each lawmaker, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, I'm going back to screen.
Great. And then, so we've got resources for requesting your meeting. There's a captain email template you can copy and paste and edit and send to the lawmaker's office. And we'll show you these tools. We'll give you a run through of the tools here. And then for Arts Advocacy Day, you can request a 30-minute meeting on April 21st with a time frame that works best for you, given your travel and such. Well, that's one of the things that we really find is very helpful now with captains scheduling the meeting, is because then you get to have control of when your meetings are and how to accommodate them with your day and your travel. And the rally ends usually around 10:30. It always goes longer. We're trying to program it shorter today, this year. But there's a rally, kind of a kickoff where registration happens, and then we kind of parade and march over to 1021 O Street. If you happen to need a meeting, the lawmaker needs to meet with you earlier, that's okay. You'll just have to let your advocates know, and you'll be organizing all them ahead of time. So, but if you want to, when you make your email request it for after 10:30, and allowing for time to get through security. That's a window of time just to think in mind in terms of making your request. You can make an ideally in this window kind of a thing. And in district captains, you of course got a lot more flexibility in terms of that, but generally lawmakers are back home when they're on recess in that window of time between March 30th and April 3rd, or you can schedule to meet with them or staff on Zoom anytime of the year. And I would love to share the template tools, and I'll give you a little spin in there. So your toolkit links out to this, and this are in the captain's resources as well. And you can also use the tab feature just to jump around within the document. We've got a template for requesting a meeting. You can also use these links for requesting an Arts Advocacy Day, a virtual meeting, follow-up email, recruiting your advocates if you want to use a template for reaching out to folks in your community that you want to join the meeting, etc. These are all the resources that we have that you can copy and paste and drop in the email to lawmakers. And then we also have a contact list for your lawmakers, which we recommend reaching out to the scheduler as well as chief of staff. And if you want to add your ledge director, you can put them all into one email and send it off. What often can happen is that they ask you to fill out a scheduling request form, that they're taking these requests digitally now. And let me show you one of those. So this one is Assemblymember Addis's. And similar to the email, you would enter your information and then you can copy and paste from the email template that we provided, giving them some background on the meeting. There may be at the time, there might be some specific bills that we will be, that you might want to reference. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. There will be none of that until April 1st when we have our get ready to advocate training scheduled. And at that point, we'll be going over the policy priorities and the talking points, resources, all of that. And we'll have a training on those as well later when those are available. We're still processing the legislative options. But you can copy and paste from your email template, your meeting request template within the form and send it off. And then also they add if you're it's important to note that you're a constituent and you can put in your message that you will send a list of constituents that will be attending the meeting later when you do your confirmation. That's helpful for them to know that this is an initial request, and then we'll be confirming the constituents at a later date. And yeah, meeting time and location. This is kind of cool because you can use this to book your virtual and your district meetings as well. So that's just to familiarize you with the scheduling. And I think we're going back to the slideshow now.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go on to step 2.
Yeah, so start as soon as possible making those requests and follow up regularly. We generally recommend a cadence of weekly just to keep flagging. You can call the office when if you get closer to the you haven't been able to book a meeting, and again, that's pointing you back to the scheduling request link, what we just shared. Often they'll, if they want you to use the scheduling request link, they'll email that to you, and then you can use it from within the email, or you can access from their webpage or from our contact list. Next slide. And then step 3, book and report your meetings to us. When its meeting is scheduled, you're going to both fill out the booked meeting form for Arts Advocacy Day, and that will help us communicate to arts advocates. And for folks that are doing in-district meetings, notify your advocates of a meeting and time and location. And we recommend for both types of meetings to create a calendar invite within your calendar platform that loops in, that gets the staffer or the lawmaker, whoever you're in contact with at the lawmaker's office. And then you can add your advocates to that as the signups come in or however that works. But definitely, we found over the years that the lawmaker offices are relying more and more on these calendar invites. So really recommend and highlight utilizing those once you've booked your meeting. The next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to let me highlight the deadlines? I'm so sorry. I should have mentioned that. April 7th is our deadline for book for any meetings, any lawmaker meetings at Arts Advocacy Day. What that means is if meetings can't get scheduled by April 7th, then we have another option where folks can drop off outreach packets and connect with lawmaker offices on the day of Arts Advocacy Day. But we need the cutoff date so that everybody's prepared. They know who their advocates are. They know when the meetings are and all of that. So we're going to have a real crisp and clean cutoff date to help people feel more prepared. And then April 17th would be the last. You may, in that window of time, get some changes from lawmakers. Oh, we got to change the room, or oh, maybe the lawmaker is canceling, or you might even hear from somebody last minute and we want to add it, and we'll have to deal with that directly with your advocates. We won't be able to use our system for that. But anyway, that's all just to say that for captains, we definitely want to support and be flexible for some of the last minute things that can happen. And we will have methods for that. And we'll talk, that'll be covered in our 3rd training. Jennifer, anything else you want me to flag in here in terms of some of the booking and reporting, since this is really your end?
No, it's all great. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, next slide then. And then we really recommend that you confirm the meeting with lawmakers and advocates as you're moving closer to the day of your meeting. Recommending a week before a local or virtual meeting to send a confirmation email to the scheduler and staff that helped arrange the meeting, and keep your advocates up to date. Include an update of a list of advocates attending the meeting. And by that time, by April 1st, we will have our policy priorities document. That is it'll be a multi-page kind of background on the different budget and legislative asks, and also what we call socializing, like educating them on arts. Like there might not be a policy aligned with arts and health this year that we can promote, but we still want to give them background information and have them been thinking on that. So that document is our what we call a leave behind. You can send that ahead of time for your virtual meetings. You can even send it for your Arts Advocacy Day meetings as well, and that just gives them some preparation, some prep documents. For those that are participating at Arts Advocacy Day at the Capitol, we will have a packet for captains that will be a leave behind for lawmakers that will also include Create California's legislative priorities. We will have that available for folks that are also doing virtual and in-district meetings as well. There may be I think there's another entity there. We might have background information. We'll have printouts that you can leave as a really pretty packet for the lawmakers on the day of. And all of that stuff will also be accessible for you to print out in the captain's resource or share digitally in the resources folder as they become available. And then, of course, send a similar email to your team of advocates with prep materials. I also tend to, when I book lawmaker meetings and let the office know who's coming to the meeting, I will often have a list that's a name of the person with a link to their their organization or affiliation and a link out to that, just letting them know who's going to be in the meeting. That's just an extra step that I take. And that seems to work well. And I think that's it here. Okay, yeah, next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Awesome job. So again, that was all about how to start requesting and scheduling meetings with your assigned lawmakers. If you have any questions on that portion, please keep them in mind. We will address them after we go through this portion here. So again, for anyone who is planning to attend Arts Advocacy Day and participate in lawmaker meetings, as an advocate or captain must register for this free event. We have a registration website live already, and you'll notice when you get to the homepage, which is what this screenshot is on, there'll be two buttons. So if it's your first time registering for this year's registration form, you click on your registration. And then if you have already registered, you just go back to click on modify registration to make any future changes that you might need. So step 2 is you will select your registration type. In your captain application form, if you have selected the discounted ticket off for the summit, if you are attending the summit, you can put in your promo code there. And that you would have gotten from me in an email with your captain application confirmation email. And if you are going to be attending the summit, you would just basically select one of the ticketed options there. And then as you're going through the summit registration process, there'll be a point where it's asking if you are also going to be attending Arts Advocacy Day, which you can check off there. However, if you're not attending the summit and just Advocacy Day, there's an option here for you of noting just Advocacy Day only. Okay. And then step 3 is you would select all meetings you plan to attend as an advocate or captain. So again, after you receive the email from me with your captain application confirmation that has all the details of which lawmaker meetings you are assigned to, please go ahead and go into this registration site, either start a new one or modify your existing one, and then make sure that you're marking the check boxes to the meeting sessions accordingly that you've been assigned to captain. And just to know how captains are added onto this page is once I have the list of all of your names with all of the lawmaker names you are assigned to. I will go ahead and add it in on the registration site. So if there isn't a name yet listed as a captain, that just means someone, there's an opening for someone to lead in that lawmaker meeting. What's really important to know is just because you see your name listed next in that same line as the lawmaker meeting session, it does not guarantee that you are already accounted for in the capacity of the meeting. So it's really important that you must select, like in the previous slide, the meeting session that you are going to be captaining. So we make sure we include you into that head count, especially for those meetings that are a lot more strict on the capacity. We want to make sure that you, of course, are going to be counted for in there. And then once you have all hear back from your lawmaker offices, you would fill out that book meeting form with the start time of your meetings. And then once I receive that, I will go ahead and update, or someone on the staff will update the meeting time TBD, remove that, and we'll put in the actual start time you provide us to the left of those session names. So right now they're all blank because we don't have anything coming in right now. Again, for the capacity, as a default, as Tracy mentioned, we do have it at 10 in our system. You'll see the number in red is the correlation to the capacity. So in the event if there's anything more or less than 10 that your lawmaker is requiring, please note that in the book meeting forms so that we can schedule that and change that accordingly too. Okay. And then the last step for the registration is just to get your confirmation on the very last page. You will get your registration record page. And also you should be getting an email registration or confirmation each time you modify. There'll be an email confirmation too. So you'll see on the bottom of your registration record page, any of the meetings that you have selected that you'll be attending as an advocate or captain. Again, you just go back to the home page to do the modify registration anytime you need to select or remove meetings too. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second. And before we jump into the Q&A and more hands-on practice, just for the sake of those that will be watching this who aren't able to attend today, just want to jump over real quick to some next steps. So after today's training session, first step is to complete what we covered today in the training session. So reach out to your assigned lawmakers to request meetings, register for Arts Advocacy if you haven't done so already. And of course, once this is available on to you all via email and on our YouTube channel, feel free to rewatch this session if you need to refer back to anything. And then secondly is to review the Captain's Toolkit with all the steps and resources you'll need. And then also we have 2 upcoming drop-in office hours. We have a total of 5. The first one will be this Friday and another one on March 13th, where you can just drop in anytime on Zoom and ask us questions, or if you need help with anything, we're here to help you. The registration info is all in the toolkit and on the Captain Info website TBD. And then the next training session number 2 will be on March 25th. And in that session, we will go over how to prepare your team of advocates and how to conduct effective meetings. All right. So thank you all for your time listening to all of this information. It's a lot of information, and we will guarantee that we have full confidence you will be successful in following all of these steps. And we're here to guide you and support you. And we really appreciate all of your leadership in this work that you do on your own collectively, and then we will unify together in Sacramento and or in districts this spring. So I will go ahead and pause there, and I'll also go ahead and pause our recording for those captains I'll be watching, and then we will transition into our hands-on practice and Q&A.